I make a lot of videos that help people feel good, that increase their enjoyment. This is not necessarily one of those videos. This video is for people who like pain. People that play video games and just put themselves through suffering for greater enjoyment at the end, maybe. But people who just really like pain. The struggle, just brutal, awful pain. So yeah, this is going to be a really fun video about lower league management. Let's get started. What we're doing today is going through what you're supposed to do or should do or can do on your first day of lower league management that's going to set you up for success when playing with one of these misery buckets. And you know me, I love long lists. I love 10 things, 50 things. No, we're going to stick to 6 categories, and I'm just going to riff off. I have a couple of ticks in each category that I want to talk about, and if you follow all the ticks in those 6 categories and you just keep those 6 categories in mind on your first day and throughout a save with a lower level team, they hopefully won't be lower level forever. They'll at least give you a chance to make them not lower level. And a chance is all we can ask for. So here I am giving you a chance. Let's get started. First category. First category is something you'll hear me say a lot, actually, and that's to set up your staff. Oh my god. Again. Look, even if you don't like setting up your staff when you've got 50 members of your staff at a larger club, it's not going to take as long when you're in lower league management because your staff is just a few people. It also means that picking them is more important because they're going to have a greater effect on the total amount of your players. That is not my first tidbit, though. My first tidbit is that there's something called knowledge, which is very valuable in the game and also in real life. The knowledge in the game is for scouting purposes. If you're able to sign members of your staff that are from different nationalities, it will naturally expand the database of players that become available in a player search. How you take advantage of this, I will talk about later, but it's obviously very important to just know more players exist than to be able to sign more players that can make your team better. And of course, a lot of them can make your team better. So you're just going through all of these different coaches on your first day, and you're trying to figure out which ones you're supposed to sign, because you do not have the opportunity to sign a lot of coaches or general staff. You're going to need to sign versatile staff. Coaches in particular, because there are a lot of different training sections for coaches. Whether you set it up yourself or not, you need to know this. If you go to training and then coaches, which I just can't click, man. Training and then coaches, and then edit coaching assignments, you see all of the different sections that coaches need to cover. This Carmarthentown coaching staff's really small. I hadn't signed anybody else for it yet, but you have a lot of different areas in between your goalkeeping coach and your fitness coach that need to be covered, and they're going to need to be covered by like 1 or 2 people. Your assistant coach fits into this section, and if you are somehow lucky enough in lower league management to have reserve coaches, they also fit into this section. U20 whatever leagues also fit, because those are basically your reserve team. So you just need versatile coaches to fill these spots. If you've never signed coaches before and you're a little overwhelmed by what to look for, if you have somebody that has good motivation, discipline, and determination, that's the holy trinity. It doesn't have to be great, but if it's good, they're going to be a decent coach at anything, as long as it's not like 1 to 5 in that particular ability. But beggars can't be choosers, and we are beggars. The actual finding of people that you can sign as coaches and just part of your staff in general can be a particularly challenging endeavor, because you just don't have a lot of money when you're managing in the lower leagues. So what you can do is post an ad for a position, which I'll show you how to do really quickly, and that will attract candidates that will definitely accept the amount of money you're offering. It does limit your pool of applicants, though, so if you have the time, I'd recommend just combing through everybody you've searched for to find the best one. But who has the time? I wonder if I can get some elevator music while I do this. Hope I do. What is it? Staff. No, that's not it. Yeah, it is. Job center. Place advert. Whatever you want. Your heart's desire is in this section. Okay, party time, second section. It's something that not as many people use as they should. I didn't even know what a trial was before I started playing Football Manager, but it's to use trials liberally. Trials are your savior. You want to use trials as another scout. What a trial is you offer a player to come in and practice with you for either 1, 2, 3, or 4 weeks. I recommend 2 because then you get a full scouting report on them, so always give 2-week trials. Fun little fact there. You're welcome. And then once they're done with those 2 weeks practicing with you, you know exactly how good they are, and you can decide whether you're going to offer them a contract or not. Some people will reject trials, especially as a lower league team, because they think they are too good for your team. Put them on your short list and offer them a trial in a couple of months if they're still not with a club. People get desperate. The game's the same as real life. Like when I haven't had a burger in 24 hours. Yeah, I love salads. I really do. Love them. Well, that green stuff. You know who else loves salads? Trialists. One extra thing to keep in mind, though, do not have too many trialists at the same time. Your minuscule staff will be completely overworked and the training will be ineffective. So once you offer a trial and somebody comes in, you get a rough rating of the player and a decent look at their attributes the moment they accept the trial. So then just terminate the trial in the contract section of the player. And by terminating the trial, they will leave the club immediately and not overburden your coaching staff. It'd be a huge jerk move in real life. Guy gets off the flight like, hey, ready to go, boss. And you're like, but it works. And we're savages. Hey, this is your conscience speaking. We're halfway through the video, I think. If you haven't liked the video already and you found it enjoyable, I'd really appreciate it if you did so. You can also subscribe to the channel for updates. And what feed do we end up in? I'm like not good at this. Your YouTube feed. And the subscriptions really help us out, help get more perks for the channel. So if you want to do that, you can, and hit the little bell. You get notifications every time a video goes live every Monday and Thursday. I also stream on Twitch. If you're like, man, that's a cool guy, you'd be the first person to ever say that, and you do have the opportunity to hang out with me. So you follow Twitch, and I'm playing Football Manager usually 3-4 times a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and then on Sunday we let the Hammereds vote on what I'm going to play. But that's their prerogative. Sometimes it's Football Manager. Now to the next section of my notes about what to do in lower league management. Don't be afraid to go over budget. I mean, really, I'm not leading you down a well of despair here. Don't be afraid to go over budget. When you're with a huge club, going over budget can be catastrophic, because going over budget means like $500 million in the hole at Barcelona or something. Just instantly somehow. But if you're with a lower league club, like somebody who follows the streams at a lower league club, and their wage is like $18 a month or a week or something, and that's what they have. Well, they're spending $150 a week, and still, if you get one competition bonus, one significant competition bonus, you can pay off that entire bill for a year. You're not putting yourself in terrible debt. Depending on how much the board value's staying under that limit, you got to be careful, or else you could lose your job before anything good happens. But when you're at a level in a lower league where 1 or 2 players that have actual ability to play the ball makes all the difference in the world, spending a little more money to get them and going significantly over the budget at times can just help you go from a relegation candidate to a promotion favorite. If you're able to get a contract out to a couple of trialists that you really liked and completely raise the level of your team to a new bar, it's absolutely worth it. Don't even give a damn about the finances. You can fix those once you get into European qualifying or something 2 years from now. I'm just saying it's easier to make the money back. If you want to be a riverboat gambler, you can really push it and say, we got to win this year or we're screwed. I know a lot of people that do that. I've certainly done it in the past. It can work. Also, cannot. I know that one wasn't really a first day thing, but it's something important to keep in mind when you're looking at those big first day signings. But now we're back to more pressing first day things and ways to think about how you're going to be signing players. My next section is that you need to understand that there are a ton of players, depending on your database, obviously, a ton of players that can help you win. If you're like me and you started with Barcelona in your first ever save and you went, okay, I'm looking for people that can improve my team, there aren't a lot. You have to look far. You have to look wide to find one player that's able to help you at Barcelona. Now compare that to Weston Supermare, which is the second team that I started as. And all of a sudden, everybody I looked at was like 5 stars. as 16 years old. There are just a ton of players who are going to be able to help you win, which means you do not have to spend a lot of money for one particular player. You only want to spend a lot of money if it's a good deal for the ability of the player. Does that make sense? Because they're just about 15 other dudes that can probably do the exact same thing. You want to make sure you're spending the low-end amount of money for somebody at a certain ability level. Now, this will come into play right away. You just go to scouting, and when you go to players and player search, everybody that comes up is going to be who is in your database of knowledge. This is just who we know exists in the world, and this goes back to the coaching stuff. If you signed foreign coaches, the players they know about from their country are gonna be in here. If I just started at a lower league club, this is what I'm doing. I go to general info, I sort players that do not have a club, and that's something that I'm gonna add to my search parameter. Ain't nobody paying for players here. You set expired, you pick your position. Let's go striker actually. We're gonna go striker, and then you pick your attributes. And one of the things that's available for strikers that you don't know about, I believe, is finishing. It is. I haven't scouted any of these guys, but sometimes the attributes are just available. Well, this guy's Welsh, so we just know how bad he is. I won't waste your time with it here, but you go through and you search for the different attributes that you want. Typically, I'm going to recommend physical attributes at a lower level. So we'll just say, hey, I need somebody who's not ridiculously slow to play striker. And then you'll win more. Remember, it can vary by position. If you have not scouted somebody at all, the few attributes that you might have a range for, just keep that in mind. If you search for something, nobody pops up, it might just be because in that position, the attributes just aren't. We're out of words. Next one. Another thing you have to do on the first day is set up your tactic. Now, I make tactic videos, obviously, but lower league is a little bit different, and I have one word to describe how basically every lower league tactic should be composed. Direct. Your lower league tactic should be very direct, because there's one thing, somebody told me this a while ago, and I've always thought it was perfect to describe how to make a lower league tactic. Bodies matter more than what the bodies are doing. You want to just get bodies forward, and you want to get bodies back, because the bodies just are not that good at playing football, soccer, whatever you want to call it, but they're bodies. I had a specific tactic that helped me win Wales with Carmarthen Town over the new Saints in FM19. And that tactic was very body-oriented, and it was actually fairly similar to Knapp's Sicilian tactic for 2020. So that's what I'm showing you here. But something like this, you can see how a direct bit of play gets two bodies on two bodies at the top of the formation, which can hand my forwards 1v1s, while the rest of the bodies are back defensively, making it very difficult for the other team to do the same thing to me. It's not about world beating. It's just about out-positioning the other team in the lower league. You're not... if you tell these people to play tiki-taka, they can't most of the time. Just hoof it. The actual tactics in lower league, it's a fair bit of hoping for the best. It is. So give your team the best chance if you're hoping for the best, numerically. This is another one I've seen in lower league a lot. The new Saints actually played it against me. It's very effective at getting numbers in the right places, too. The important reason, though, that this bodies phrase is something I reiterate all the time is that there is no consistency when you're managing in the lower leagues. The players just don't have it. One day you will play a team, and you're better than them, and you beat them 5-0, and the next day you play the same team with the same lineup, and everybody's magically not tired, taking this too literally, but then you'll lose 5-0. That doesn't necessarily mean your tactic got any worse. It doesn't mean your team got any worse. It just means that the fragile mental state of your team, you gave up the first goal, everybody fell apart. It's inconsistent. Lower league management is inconsistent, even when you're the best team in the league, unless you're the best by 3 country miles, which is a long way for people who didn't grow up here. You're going to be in for days that make absolutely no sense. Follow trends, don't necessarily make wholesale changes off of one match, or even 1 or 2 matches more that look kind of the same way. As long as they don't happen in a row and your team doesn't get into a rut, it's just part of life in the lower league. Old Billy Bob over here can't reproduce the same ability day in and day out, but sometimes they'll get lucky and actually score like 1 goal. And just remember, kids, everybody on your team sucks. But that's the life we chose. I know I've made fun of it a lot, but I actually love lower league management. My preferred type of save is to start with a lower league team and then try to win the Champions League or something and just spend the whole year doing that. And for years, that was the type of save I would do every time I got the chance to. But I've taken on a bunch of different types of saves now, and it's been fun. We're at Belarus now, which not the worst, that important. I hope you are less intimidated by your first day at a lower league club, a lower level club, and you're able to take on this type of challenge because I love it. I love the pain. I hope this allows you to love it too. I wish you many direct kick, striker missing 3 1v1s and finishing the 4th type of experiences. My save in FM19 in Wales was spiritual. When we finally beat the New Saints was the 3rd greatest moment in my entire life. I wish you the same experience, I really do. So if you have anything else that you would like to add to this, please go down in the comments and add it. If one of these really helped you, I'd love to hear about it too. That always makes my day. I appreciate it. If you have any video ideas, you can throw it down there too. I'll see you guys next time. Gotta love a man that can wink with both eyes.